Hello all you crazy and wonderful people, my name is Andrew, also known as Penguin ADZ, and here's another Thirsty for History Thursday. Now something cool about this episode, I feel like it's one of the most prepped for episodes I've done so far, and I hope you guys really enjoy it. For this week's video, I plan on doing the history of the Legend of Zelda. I thought this would be really interesting history, and it will back up some information on this for next week's video. So The Legend of Zelda was created by Shirego Miyamoto and Takeshi Tezuka. I'm sorry if I said those names wrong, they're both Japanese. The thing about The Legend of Zelda, something interesting about it, it has elements of action, adventuring, and problem solving in the game. It's actually a pretty fun game, and I enjoy playing it myself. The storyline around the game is a boy named Link goes on an adventure to rescue the Princess Zelda and the Kingdom of Hyrule from the evil guy named Ganon. The games, it's not always this fat that Link is rescuing Princess Zelda. Sometimes it's other things that he does, like in the game Majora's Mask, instead of saving Princess Zelda, he's instead trying to save the world from the moon crashing into the earth. And one thing that can be seen through most of the games is a relic called Triforce. It's 3 triangles. Each triangle represents wisdom, power, and courage. Sometimes the storyline is involved with the Triforce. Other times you can just see it in the storyline. Merchandise of The Legend of Zelda, there was many games for it. I'm going to be going through a list of places, of devices it was put on, and dates it was put into. The first game was Legend of Zelda. It was put into Japan on February 21st, 1986, and in the US, August 22nd, 1987. It was put on the Famicom disk system, and it was the first game, basically went along the basic storyline. The next game, Zelda 2, The Adventures of Link, was put in Japan in January 14th, 1987, for the same device, Famicom disk system. But for the US, it was put into December 1988 on the Nintendo Entertainment System. The next game, Legend of Zelda: A Link to the Past, is a game where it's split into 2 different worlds, and you can go through different worlds through certain portals. It was put on the Super NES system, and it was put in November 21st, 1991. The next game was Link's Awakening. This one was one of the first games that didn't have Zelda in it. Instead, it was spectated that it was kind of a dream world for him, and he had to go through an adventure to wake himself up. And it was put into the Game Boy handheld device in 1993. The next game, this game was a very popular, very successful game. It was the Ocarina of Time. It is personally one of my favorite games. It's a really fun game to play. It was put onto the Nintendo 64 in November 1998, and it went through many magazines and was deemed really successful. The next game is Majora's Mask. And Majora's Mask is where I talked about it, how Zelda has to save the world from the moon crashing into the earth, and he has 3 days to do it. But something cool about the 3 days is he still has the ocarina, which he gains in Ocarina of Time, and he can use a song which will bring him back in time to the beginning of those 3 days, and he can continuously do that until he can beat the Majora's Mask. The next one is Ocarina of Seasons and Ocarina of Ages. I don't really know much about this game, but I know that it was put into 2001 for the Game Boy Color. The games were, you had to beat one of the games first, and it'll give you a password so you can enter into the second game so you can continue on with the game. So you can't just play the second game and figure out how it all ends. The next game, another really fun game that I played as a child, was Wind Waker. You're still Link, and what happens is your little kid, your sister gets kidnapped, you have to go on an adventure to go save her. You get a little wind wand that can help you control the wind, and you get a friend who's a boat, a dragon boat, who helps you go through the sea to help you find your sister and go on this crazy adventure. I was put on the GameCube in December 2002. The next one is Four Swords Adventure for the GameCube, and it came out in 2004. The Four Swords Adventure was kind of a multiplayer game where you could play with 4 people to go through dungeons and to complete the storyline. The next game was Minish Cap, and it was put on the Game Boy Advance. It was put in Japan November 2004, and in America January 2005. This was actually another fun game that I enjoyed playing, and I wanted to try and replay the game. The next one of my top favorite ones, besides Ocarina of Time, was the Twilight Princess. The Twilight Princess is where kind of the Shadow Realm is coming over to the real world, and you're trying to help defeat the guy Ganon in this storyline, and you can transform between a wolf and the main character Link. And this was put into the Wii on November 6th, and the GameCube December 2006. And about the GameCube, it was the last official game for the GameCube. Before the GameCube started putting games into it started working on their other devices. The next game was put onto the DS. It was called The Phantom Hourglass. This came out in 2006. It was another really fun game that I played. It was said to be the sequel to Wind Waker. The next game after that was Legend of Zelda Spirit Links. This came out on December 7th, 2009 for the DS. This is one of the first ones where you gotta play alongside Zelda and you gotta use her in certain things. Then came, in 2011, the 25th anniversary of Legend of Zelda. Basically what they did in this year was they released a bunch of new titles, put them into newer game types. 2 of these were Link Awakening, which was put into the 3DS on June 7th. And then they recreated Ocarina of Time 3D for the 3DS in the middle of June. This was the game that I played on, and I found this a lot of fun. And in this year, they brought out a new game. This was called Skyward Sword. It was put onto the Wii, and it was brought out on November 20th. After that, there was a bunch of remakes and a bunch of new games. The first one was Legend of Zelda Wind Waker High Def, and this was a remake for the Wii U, and this came out on October 4th, 2013. The next game that came out was Legend of Zelda A Link Between Worlds, and this came out on the 3DS on November 2013. This was a remake of the A Link to the Past, and I played this game and I found it a lot of fun. It was a little bit easier game than the other games I played, and I would recommend it to more children runs, but it's still a fun game to play for even if you're an adult. The next remake was Legend of Zelda Majora's Mask 3D for the 3DS, and it came out February 13th, 2015. This is another game that I played, and I found this a lot of fun. The next game was Legend of Zelda Twilight Princess High Def Remake, and it came out on the Wii U in March 2016. I wanted to play this game, but I haven't been able to yet. And the newest game that's going to be coming out on March 3rd, 2016 is The Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wild. This is coming out for Nintendo Switch, the new device that's coming out, and also for the Wii U. This looks like a really fun game that I would really enjoy playing, and the graphics on it looks awesome. And that's basically the story of The Legend of Zelda, all the games that came out for it, the storyline kind of for it, and some of the details for certain games. If you guys really liked this, please leave a like and subscribe. I know it's a little longer episode than I usually do. But yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed next week's video on this. It's going to be on Conspiracy Tuesday. So, it's been fun. See you guys later.